So I'm curious to know the self-discipline piece, right? Because the self-discipline, I think that is probably one of the key things that makes or breaks someone. How did you have that innately, or did you cultivate that?
I think a lot of it came from the way I was raised. I mean, like, sure, my parents weren't poor, but they also weren't rich by any measure. I mean, you I went to UCLA. My tuition was $4,000 a year. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I had an expensive school and I had partial scholarship, and I lived at home most of the college because that would save me money, right? Because we lived in LA at the time.
Okay.
I don't want to give you the idea that we were like some super rich family that things are, I had to pay for my own law school and take out loans and, all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like everything was
right.
was paid
Fair.
for, but, even though I say we were privileged in the sense that, yeah, my parents were well enough off to have a house that was in a safe place. And, I was able to go to this French school largely because I was a childhood actor doing commercials and using that money to pay tuition and stuff. But my parents also helped. Mm-hmm. And also, the other thing was just, my folks. For example, I had 3 older brothers, and 2 of my brothers and I literally shared the same bedroom my whole life, right? We didn't have our own bedrooms. It wasn't like a huge house. But my dad was very, very, very insistent on there always being a concept of exchange in the family. And what I mean by that is, let's say I wanted something. Let's say I wanted to go to a friend's house for the weekend, okay? Or I needed money to go do something, right? It wasn't just, hey, give me money or take me to my friend's house. It was, okay, well, what are you going to do in exchange for the time it's going to take me to drive you there? Because, we lived in Topanga, everything was 40 minutes away, right? And one of the ways that he developed the system was, this is pretty crazy, people think, but it's actually pretty cool. Every Saturday morning, he would post a chores list, right, on his door. And every single chore had a certain number of chips, blue chips associated with it. And you would go up and you would, sign your name on, I'm taking on this chore. You could do none of them if you didn't want to. I'm doing this chore. And then you would go do it, mow the lawn, clean the pool, wash a car, whatever. And then he would come out and inspect your work to make sure it was done correctly, and then sign it off and then give you the chips. And then those chips could be used to get money for something or get used for getting a ride somewhere, or you want to save up a bunch, you want to go on a ski trip or something, and it's going to cost $600. You save up for that all year. So there was a clear path to, if you work hard and if you are disciplined, you get rewarded. And I grew up that way. People think that's a little crazy. They're like, what? It's like your house was run like a corporation. And it kind of was, but I think in a there's plenty of love, don't get me wrong. But when it came to this concept of exchange, it was sort of central. And I think that was a huge part of me thinking, well, I'm not going to get anything for free. But, you add that with the sort of idealistic liberalism that I grew up in. And I think it was, okay, I need to work hard. I need to do something good for the world. And I need to take advantage of the fact that I have these gifts, whether it be a good family, some natural talent to do something meaningful in the world. And that was sort of how I grew up. Now, kind of took a departure for a little bit in law school, but then I came back to it. Ultimately, in the end, obviously, I think I ended up in a really cool place where I get to do good work for helping real people, and it's very fulfilling.